What's up? My name is Brianna. I am a 22-year licensed psychotherapist who is here to use my stories to not only encourage you, but help you to not feel so lost. Because listen, y'all, anxiety is real, okay? It's out there, it exists, but you don't have to suffer in it and you don't have to feel like you're alone in it. And a lot of women I know hide, just like I did. And so today I have a question for you. What happens when the tools you relied on your whole life stop working? Have you been there already? Are you starting to realize you're there now? Because there was a moment where I was at this place where the tools that I had used for years didn't work. And that's because they weren't tools, they were survival mechanisms. And so the coping that I had developed all of my life stopped working. I can remember the exact moment when I finally accepted it and realized it. And it was after dating, I don't know, maybe the fourth or fifth guy after my divorce. And I'm going to tell you two stories. And I'm not embarrassed by them because I've healed that part of myself. I don't have any judgment because that was the anxious part of me in survival. Um, and I'm going to tell you these stories because you need to know that you do not need to be ashamed about the things that you do when you're anxious. Because again, it's all out of survival, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it makes us look like an idiot, even when it makes us look super desperate, even when it makes us look like a psycho stalker. But it happens, okay? It happens. And I, and myself and my friend who kind of like walked me through a lot of this period of life with me, like we laugh about it all the time now. So, so I think it's funny. So I'm going to tell them because I feel like these stories will help you see that even as a licensed therapist, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was so caught up in my own anxiousness that like it was so powerful. But again, this was the moment when I realized the way that I was coping wasn't working anymore. So a while back, long, long ago, I was dating somebody who had no right dating. Number one, he was not a man of God, who is what I wanted. He did not have the same like lifestyle as I did, which is what I wanted. And so I was already picking from a place of like just needing somebody in my life. And I want you to think about this in whatever relationship you're in, with your career, within your marriage, within your dating, within your health, within your spending habits, within your drinking, partying, going out. It doesn't matter, okay? Because we have a relationship to everything that we interact with. But anxiety had convinced me that my relevance, my importance, my value, my enoughness, my worthiness was in my worth, and that my worth was based on what other people thought about me. Remember, avid people pleaser, avid perfectionist, avid performer. So I was constantly doing whatever I needed to do to get a result so that I could get the praise and the acknowledgement and the pats on the back that made me feel like, oh, that must mean that I'm enough now and that I'm worthy now and that I'm good and that I'm important, that I'm smart, not just because I got it, not just because I achieved it, not just because I started the game, not just because I hit that next milestone. It didn't matter. Like I had to get it from other people. And so I was dating this guy and it got to the point where, when you're really anxious and then you end up dating an avoidant, like that's just kind of how it works. And if this is the first time you're hearing that, user beware. Okay. So I'm dating this dude and, off the block, lots of communication, lots of interaction. Let's hang out. Whoop, whoop. We hang out. Um, we end up sleeping together, which again went against what I said I wanted in a relationship. And then boom, communication changes, right? Start to pull away. So when someone pulls away, what do? I lean in further. And so I'm leaning in further. I'm sending text messages. I'm checking in. I'm trying to make things funny. Well, one day, like, he's not talking to me. So this desperado right here makes a homemade pizza and texts him and says, I knew he was going to say yes to this, right? Because what man doesn't want to be fed? So, you know, you know how to play the game in your own anxious awareness that emotionally manipulates situations to work for you. And that's what I did. So I make this dude a pizza. I have a busy day. That morning I make a pizza. Hey, I made a pizza last night. Lie. And I have extra, and I was wondering if you want me to bring some by to you. By the way, it's a 30-minute drive to this guy's house. I was so, oh, Ace, excuse me, that was Ace. I was so unhealed back then, like, and unhinged. So I'm driving to go drop off the pizza, and I call my friend, and I'm like, Becky, I was like, anxiety got me today. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm driving to this guy's house. We'll call him Mr. T. I'm driving to Mr. T's house to drop off pizza because I'm so anxious about him not responding to me. She's like, girl, turn around. Tell him you got a flat tire. Tell him that you got to call for something for work. Don't do it. I said, nah, it's good. I'm just going to drop off the pizza. I mean, anxiety won already, so I'm just going to do it. So what did I do? I dropped off the pizza, acted cool, calm, and collective. You could never tell I was anxious. And then drove home feeling like a big bag of crap, embarrassed, ashamed, angry at myself. And so then what do? Whoop, I pull away. And then what do you do as an anxious person dating an avoidant? When an anxious person pulls away, then the avoidant starts to feel like something's wrong and they come back. This is like a game that is very unhealthy and, again, unhinged when you're anxious. So there's some insight in there for you to start recognizing and catching yourself if you're in that sort of ploy still in your life. But the second thing that happened within dating Mr. T was we were supposed to hang out. He didn't follow through. It was his responsibility. He put it on me. I was annoyed. And I still thought, like, well, whatever, we'll still be able to hang out. Well, then he's like, well, we'll just figure out another day. I knew that wasn't going to happen for like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Anxiety rising up. I had to see this person. Has to happen. Like, I have to do it. It has to be so. I have to be that ruminating in the mind that's telling you all the bad things that are going to happen if you don't act on this right now. And so I was like, I don't like how this has ended. I'm just going to come over. Let's talk. He's like, no, you don't have to. So then I call. He doesn't answer. So then I text again. I just really think that we need to like talk or hang out. He's like, whatever you want. This dude does not want to hang out with me. And out of this anxious spin, I convinced myself it's going to be the best idea to still show up at his house because he gave me that little crook in the door that said, if you want, whatever, like, we don't need to, we'll figure it out. So again, I get in the car, I call my friend Becky. Becky, guess what? Anxiety's winning. I'm driving over to Mr. T's house and he told me that I shouldn't come and I'm still coming. She says, Brianna, like, you're one step below getting a restraining order. I said, I know. SOS, help. I can't stop myself. I don't know about y'all, but like, especially those with anxiety. If you're watching this and you don't have anxiety, none of this makes sense to you. And I hope you're just laughing because you're probably like thanking God you never had to go through stuff like this. And that's fine. If that's how you feel about your life compared to mine, have at it. If that's how you need to praise Jesus, I'm going to let you have that one. But for those of you who are anxious people, especially women who are single in their 30s or have been divorced and you're finding yourself in this need to be in relationship, that's how I used to be. If you are one step below a restraining order, there are big issues there that you just need to pause and not be around anyone for a while until you get yourself squared away. But I still went, and he acted like everything was cool, calm, and collected because that's what avoidants do. And I convinced myself that everything was fine because I was there and he was acting cool. But when I left, I called Becky back and said, you are never going to believe what happened. She said, that makes all the sense. You gotta pause. You gotta hit the stop button. And a couple weeks later, I did. I ended the relationship and finally felt the peace that I was looking for, that I was trying to get in being with the person. So, learn from my story. Don't make pizza for people that don't deserve it. And don't be showing up at people's houses when they tell you they don't want you there. But why is this important? Because that was the moment that the way that I was coping unhealthily wasn't working any longer. That was the moment when the way that I was living life through the anxious lens was about to blow up in my face. So I had to hit my head on the wall a few too many times in order to get to that place. But I have a lot of self compassion and I love myself and I have a lot of grace for myself. So, like, learning takes each of us however much time it takes each of us, and that's okay. But in that moment, when I got home from showing up at his house when I didn't, I'm brushing my teeth and I'm looking in the mirror thinking to myself, like, who am I? Like, how did I become this person? Because I don't like her. I don't like this feeling. I don't like who she is. I don't like what she's representing. I don't like how she's representing herself. And like, how do I stop? How do I stop this? And so it took about 2 years. It took about 2 years to really get off of that train of feeling like who I was embodied in what I did and the reflection that people gave me of who they saw me as. You have to be careful about who you choose to be in your life when you are sensitive to the anxious part of you. You have to be careful about what you do when the anxious part of you is running the show. And you have to be careful about um, the way you respond to yourself in life when the anxious part of you is the one leading. And so when the coping stopped working, I had to stop doing. And one of the hardest things I see as women who are overachievers, who look like their life is perfect, because on the outside, y'all, everybody thought I had a great life. Everybody thought I had it together. Everybody thought that I was in the best place. And in some ways I was, but I was suffering and I was struggling. And this is at the beginning of my walk in my faith with God. This was about this relationship happened like right after I got baptized. And so it like started to really test all these things that I was saying I was committed to that I was actually giving up. Um, and so I was tested over and over and over again. But the moment that I stopped, the moment that I stopped, the moment that I stopped performing and I stopped people pleasing and I stopped perfecting and I just got back to being with myself and getting to know who I was in the moments when I was at peace, started to help me walk in that peace in my career, in my relationships, in my health. Um, and so I just want to encourage you as you are at whatever part of this journey you're at, that there are signs, symbols, and tribulations that are screaming at you to stop. And that